system that they've created a long time ago, which has always benefited them. Even the casual observer has to notice that the banks are still in business, while a lot of other industries and businesses have gone out of business in the so-called economic bubbles and crashes and all these crises they talk about. The banks always survive, and they came out the other side of it very well indeed, and having more money, more assets, more power than ever before. And so it's obvious that these crises are not damaging to the banks. So what is it all about? Why did the banks allow these crises to happen? It's because it's profitable to them. It's a means of acquiring the assets of the nation gradually and slowly through a process of inflation. That's the simple version. There are other little side eddy currents that are also at play, but the major one is inflation of the economy, the loss of purchasing power of the dollar. Every time the dollar loses every time the dollar loses one unit of purchasing power, whatever that unit is, somebody gains it. Nobody asks, well, it went to somebody. Who did it go to? And if you want to follow the loss of the purchasing power that the consumer suffered through, the gain came to the cartel members, which is a partnership between government and banks. So the gain came to the government and to the Federal Reserve System, which is the cartel of the banks. So that's it. So now, why would they be doing crashing the banking system? Now, we can see that's actually happening. And, yes. And that's what started this whole thing with your question. It's a banking crisis. Well, no, it's not, because the banks, in my opinion at least, have decided that this game that they've been playing all this time has gone about as far as it can. They have inflated the money supply hundreds of times greater than any time before in history. And even with 1/10 or 1/100th of the inflation that we see now, even in the historical record of 1/100th of that, systems have always collapsed. So what are you going to say about it when it's 100 times greater than anything we've seen before? They know it's going to collapse. Actually, when you look at the banking system and the balance sheets on their financial summaries, that's already collapsed, but nobody knows it. They're just continuing to pretend like it's still working, and they're pumping money into the economy so fast. It's ridiculous. Nobody in their right mind, certainly in the banking industry, nobody dreams or even claims that these debts are going to be repaid. They cannot be repaid. The system is broken, and as I said before, eventually it's going to collapse. So now we come to the question, when is it going to collapse? Well, it's collapsing right now, if it hasn't already, and the banks are leading it. They want it to collapse. Now, isn't that an interesting, funny thing for me to say? Why would the banks want their banking system to collapse? And the answer is very simple, because they have something better in mind, at least better for them. And that won't involve the old traditional use of money at all. Money will disappear as we have known it. They have this thing called the central bank digital currencies, which is something they will control. It won't be your money or mine. It's their money. We'll be allowed to use it if we obey their dictates, and they'll have complete control over us. This is why they are crashing the banking system now, because they want the dollar to collapse, so that people will be desperate, and they'll be looking to the same people that caused the problem to create a solution to the problem. And people will be so desperate they'll accept anything, including this horrible thing called central bank digital currencies. Now it took a long time to answer your question, but it's because they have an idea of something better for them and worse for us.